Constantly shifting through the time-space continuum, Metron's three disciples observe the universe from the Mobius Couch.
Hey everybody, this is our not normal intro to part 2 of the Dark Phoenix Saga that we thought we could do in one part and we can't. I'm Joe, with me is Patrick.
Hi.
And Alessandro.
Hey.
And now part 2 will commence because we don't have anything else to say right now.
Also, Dave is here, but he's not
going to
say hi. He won't say hi, but he's here for part 2. Issue 133, Wolverine Alone. Loved this
Wolverine
issue.
lashes out.
No, it's Wolverine Alone.
I know, it's on the cover.
No, but I love this issue. This is just such a good Wolverine.
Great
moment.
issue.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. These are just dudes. I know in the cartoon they were androids, I guess, or for this cartoon.
To make it more like kid friendly. No, he just straight up murders 3 guys.
He murders.
He murdered 3.
Yeah,
he murders a lot of guys.
Well, no, he murders 3 in the first 3 pages.
He murders 3 people very fast, and I love it. I like a very visceral memory for me was when the X-Men movies were coming out. The first one came out, and I was just like, okay, but is it Wolverine or is it like cartoon Wolverine? Because like he fought Sabretooth, like nothing really happened. In X2 when they fight at the school.
Oh yeah, he just kills so many guys.
And he puts his claws through somebody, and then he pulls them out, or he pulls them back into his arms, and the guy slides down, and there's like 6 puncture holes in the refrigerator. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well, he also,
it's real Wolverine, and he proceeds to slice through like 1,000 dudes.
And also a few pages in, he has the cool kind of Dirty Harry moment where a guy's kind of freaking out. And he says, and Wolverine's like, I feel for you, man. I know what you're thinking. He's hurt and he's 5 meters away and I've got a clip of ammo in my rifle. Question is, can I kill Wolverine before he can reach me and cut me into a shish kebab with those freaky claws of his? Well, bub, Wolverine is virtually unkillable. He's like, I'm made out of adamantium. I can do this.
It's your play.
He's like, it's your play. It's a cool kind of Dirty Harry moment where he's like, it's up to you. Do you want to try this out? And the guy drops his gun.
like when he drops his gun, Wolverine goes like, fuck, I was hoping you'd go for it.
Yeah.
Like kind of thing. Like he was like, I want to ask you questions, but I don't really care.
So I laughed a lot at the very beginning of this issue because Wolverine's been in the sewer, so he's soaking wet, but he's up in the rafters doing like the Batman, like he's supporting his body weight, So he's dripping water, and I just laugh because going back to like how much dialogue there is in these older comics, because the Hellfire guy sticks his hand out because there's water dripping from the ceiling, and he goes, "Huh? Water? There ain't no pipes in here. How come we got a leak?" And he like slowly looks up. It's like, why is
First of all, like the best thing is he says, Murray, all of you, the ceiling. Claremont has this like hilarious because I haven't mentioned
Angelo.
This point, but it's been throughout this entire thing. There's some like all of the henchmen have random names. They're all just like instead of being like goon number 1, they're just like
because one of the henchmen in this scene is called Rosen, which reminded me of Sam Rosen, who is a letterer in the '60s for Marvel.
Yeah, so maybe they're just like calling people's names out.
That all the henchmen are named after creatives from Marvel, either in the '60s or at the time. But I couldn't find any other specific names because the names are too generic. Like Rosen's that's a different one. But yeah, it's like Murray, Sally, Elton. I was like, these are probably
there's an Angelo.
Just like constantly naming people. It's so funny. Anyway, Wolverine cuts people down.
It did kind of seem like there's a lot of New York Italian names in there. I don't know.
It's New York.
I got that impression.
Bro, it's New York.
Whoa, Murray? Come on.
Well, not Murray. There was like
Italian
Angelo, Sal.
Italian
there was like
name,
three. There was like 3 in a row. Angelo, Sal, and there was.
Where do you think the Hellfire Club is hiring all their goons? Shitty.
It's
New York.
Arthur Avenue, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they're going up to the Bronx. All right. So where to go next? So the Hellfire Club is kind of posturing in front of prisoners as this is going on.
And Wingard and Shaw have like mutual thought balloons about like the other one's probably about to betray me.
Yeah,
and they're right. They're both. They're
right. Yeah,
correct.
they're both right.
Yeah. Oh,
there's some
a Colossus note. I don't like Colossus in his costume, in his flesh. I don't like how the V reveals his flesh sides. I don't like that.
homophobic.
Oh, really? But you don't have any problem with the pants? You wouldn't like the pants then?
I wouldn't mind the pants. I specifically don't like the side flesh that.
Well, what I mean is, like, you prefer the blue tights to reappear when he when he's not.
No, I don't mind the leg part at all. It's the top part that I find weirdly revealing and a strange cut that I don't like.
You just want him to have like.
I mean, he's a muscular man. Kitty Pryde thinks so.
To Dave's point, I would prefer a tube top that wraps around. Yeah.
Actually, I think Kitty said he's a neat-looking man, which I thought was 13-and-a-half-year-old.
She definitely says something about like him being.
He's neat-looking.
Also, Cyclops has
maybe
does that cloth mask Cyclops has block his optic blasts?
Yeah, because I think he describes it like it's a ruby quartz, like entirely.
Oh no, it's solid. Oh yeah, it's like a Man of the Iron Mask ruby quartz thing, right?
Yeah, it's locked at the back. It's like it's locked.
I don't know how to talk about this. Past Storm feels racist.
No,
she's 100. Yes,
feels really racist.
Shit going on right here.
Yeah. So in the past. Yeah, so in the past, the X-Men are still tied up, and
well, in Jean's mind, she's in the past, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
but the visions of them in the past are like, I don't know, 1800s versions of them.
Colossus looks like a farmer, sort of. Cyclops looks like a Minuteman. Nightcrawler looks like Salvador Dali.
He looks like a Spaniard, like a Spanish swordsman. He looks like Inigo Montoya.
Right, even though he's yeah, that's fine. Storm looks like a slave.
Yeah.
Because she is a slave, and
is referenced as such, and that's
she gets slapped in the face by Jean for talking
with a whip. Jean is holding a whip, and
here's what's really bad. Here's what's really bad about this is in like the next issue after Jean's kind of broken free, Wingard's been using a machine to like augment his powers to control Jean. And she breaks it, and she goes, use a telepath to ensnare a telepath. Ingenious. This device enabled you to tailor your illusions to fit my most private fantasies. That implies that, like, Jean fantasizes about being, like, a 19th century slave owner, I guess? Or 18th century? I don't know.
Patrick, to be fair, she explicitly says, I expected a better view. In all of my years, you have been my slave. I have never mistreated you.
So she's a good slave owner, then.
It's pretty.
Her response in her brain is, "Goddess, there's such evil in Jean's voice."
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty uncomfortable.
It's bad
to read. It's pretty bad. This is bad.
This explicitly is bad. I think the bigger thing that she's saying when she says that to Wingard is that that Jean has had these desires to, I would say, like, exercise power where she didn't have it. And this is kind of the 18th century analog to that. But I mean, this is fucked up. There's no excuse for this, but I think the idea behind it is that Jean is in a position of authority that she never felt like she had before now, and that isn't attractive to her.
But also the idea that Aurora mentions that Aurora means beauty in English, and Jean refers to her as the beauty. So she mentions that Jean is, aside from the physical beating, she's kind of really psychologically like turning things against, like calling her a beauty ironically, and really digging into her, knowing with the knowledge she has as sort of her friend, is really turning the screws on like psychological keys that would really hurt Aurora.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't really delve into this, and I don't know, like, there's not the whole. I mean, there is this in this storyline, but and especially when it's fleshed out later in like other iterations, like the cartoon and stuff. But like the Phoenix Force is a separate thing that is like inside of her. So like, how much of it is Jean? Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Well, also, this isn't Jean at all, right?
Again, not to defend this in any way, but like, how much is it Jean and how much is it like this all-powerful, psychotic, crazy entity that's, you know...
Well, we will get to that, because that is the topic of discussion.
Isn't that... They retconned all of this, didn't... Like, this is the Phoenix, and Jean isn't...
The official retcon to this is right now the Jean that we're seeing is a fake Jean copy made by the Phoenix, and the real Jean is at the bottom of the ocean after issue 100.
Yeah.
Like, that's the real retcon that we're going to ignore because that's stupid as hell, and that's not the intention of this story.
That's
It's the actual retcon.
I agree that's stupid. I feel like that's one of the things about comics that I just fucking hate, that I don't commit to the story.
Yeah, but comics they're in a constant state of having returned to the comfortable status quo, and so it's just all of comics history's ridiculous retcons just to go back to.
Especially at this point in time. I mean, like, I honestly do think it's a little better these days in terms of like kind of keeping track of everything. Or if they don't, they're like, fuck it, New 52 or whatever. You know, like they just throw everything in the trash. But like, this is the point in time where like that was not a thing. Comics were just constantly like, the next writer would come on a book and just be like, let me change that. You know,
they're not any better, Joe. They just did this with Wally West and Heroes in Crisis, where now they've retconned it to where he didn't do any of that. Like they still do this.
But again, that's because some asshole massacred his character.
Yeah, well, that's
so
on a lighter note. Well, unless you had another point to make about Jean.
Oh no,
terrible. A lighter note. I love the expression with Wolverine is the best at what he does, or how was the expression? Like, you know,
I'm the best at what I do.
Best there. Yeah. So, but he's coming out of the little dumbwaiter, sneaking into the Hellfire Club, and he goes, "There's a time for scrapping, and there's a time for being sneaky. Either way, Wolverine's the best there is." So now, like, every time I hear that he's the best at what he does or whatever, I'm like, are they talking about him being sneaky? Or are they talking about him murdering?
Are they talking about him being sneaky?
Are they talking about scrapping or being?
Let me reevaluate. Is it scrapping or sneaky? So the only thing of import, I guess, before we really like tear through this issue, is that Scott reveals that when they were on the having sex on a fucking rock in wherever the fuck Angel lives, they established a psychic rapport. And like, well, that's a comes up nonstop throughout the rest of this, these issues. So like that they established this like deep connection that their brains are like connected to, you know.
It's the constant, not really Deus Ex Machina, but the constant mechanism by which they can break the Phoenix Web, basically, is this.
Yeah, and
the psychic rapport that they built. Yeah,
there's a cutaway to Moira and Banshee talking about it, and Moira kind of lays it out that Jean, like at her maximum potential as a psychic, like she has godly power. Again, I don't think the Phoenix Force as a separate entity was a thing right now, and that she had created psychic circuit breakers, is the term they use. To limit herself.
Fail safes.
Yeah. And that somebody was like unlocking those circuit breakers, which is what was causing her to access more of her power.
And in reality, it was Professor X putting those in place.
Right now, Moira is saying Jean did this to herself, and then later on, Professor X is the one did it. But
it's like, I've been doing that. I've been doing that for a while. I'm a horrible person.
In a couple of issues.
Chaz X won, and then he like wheels away. And then on the back of a wheelchair it says Chaz X 0.
Yeah, can you imagine if the wheelchair has a vanity plate on it?
Yeah, but for right now we have the explanation that this is all Jean herself, and her power is now beyond what she'd been comfortable with, and she's clearly digging it.
This is also when we get the cutaway of Charles and Angel talking, and he's like, "I was really hard on Scott. Fuck, I fucked up." And I'm like, "You're telling the wrong guy." Anyway, go on.
Well, no, to stick with Moira real quick. So Moira's in the lab. Moira's in the lab. Moira's in the lab, and Banshee pops in. He goes, "Moira, darling, feeling up for a jog around the island?" And Moira says, "Dreadful thought." And Banshee immediately goes, "What a fool about then?"
Yeah.
It's like, you horny little shit.
Just right away. You want to go for a jog? Nah. This sounds horrible. Yeah, you want to fuck? Yeah. And she goes, "The spirit is willing, my love, but the flesh is beat."
Yeah, I wish.
Like, in that case, you want to talk? Like, just.
I do love how she worded that. Like, I wish.
What's the next list?
I wish people I've dated would phrase it that way. Instead of just
the spirit is willing, my love.
It's a very poetic way to phrase, like, not right now, but it's just like the spirit is willing, but
flesh is weak.
The flesh is beat. Okay. Yeah.
Fuck. We get to Cyclops. He sneaks into Jean's mind, essentially.
As a musketeer, as a little musketeer man.
This is funny as fuck. This whole scene is funny as hell. I could not stop laughing at this. He goes into Jean's mind, and it's literally just like purgatory. It's just white nothingness.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
doors. There's doors.
He's like, this must be Jean's mind. It's too crazy for my imagination to conjure. And it's like, is it, Scott? It's the absence of imagination. Like, what are you talking about?
I think the whole point is that Mastermind has her like in a little box. Like, there's nothing else outside of this illusion.
It's just the image it's got like in a white room, and he's like, this place is crazy. I could never imagine this.
All right.
Oh God.
Anyway, Jason Wingard and slash Mastermind and Cyclops fight. We do have a quick cut back to Wolverine slowly making his way to everybody. The sword
Wingard
fight ends with Jason
fight.
Wingard. Yeah,
You're fighting with the swords.
they fight with swords.
And Scott's
because it's
thoughtful
the past.
I know, but Scott's thought bubble is the odds in this duel are all in Mastermind's favor. He knows how to use a sword. I don't.
So just imagine that you do.
Oh
Scott.
God! I know.
Haven't you trained
Get it
in
together.
the danger room?
Oh God!
And our duel was to the death. Anyway, Cyclops gets run through, and literally, my friends, what's happened? Colossus, Cyclops was all right a moment ago, and then he gave a great cry and collapsed. And then Kurt goes,
Cyclops
he
is
lies in
dead.
a snowstorm. Colossus, his chest isn't moving. He isn't breathing. Cyclops is dead. Then we get to page 1 of the next issue. Storms, Colossus, look, Cyclops is alive. Right away.
Great.
This is my favorite moment of the entire book.
For one thing,
In fairness, people are waiting a month to read the next issue. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, holy shit, how fucking funny is that? Like,
Yeah,
he's
also,
dead. And then the next issue,
fairness-
very first page, the first line of dialogue is Nightcrawler going like, holy shit, he's alive.
well, in fairness, Nightcrawler is
Fucking
not.
amazing.
He's not a medical doctor. He didn't
He's
check a
not,
pulse,
no.
so it's fine.
Oh, I mean, they're shackled. He can't look.
Yeah,
He just saw Cyclops fall over and not breathe.
My favorite part of this panel is Sebastian Shaw in a bathrobe with his hand in his pocket, just drinking wine, looking at it.
Oh yeah.
As they're screaming, Cyclops is dead. He's just sipping his
He's
wine.
got to
just
put
looking.
something on after he's stripped down to fight them all in his pants.
But he's just like, oh, this is interesting to me, as he drinks wine.
He's like,
but
we're a
yeah.
very risque club, but I need to put something on. I'm shirtless right now.
But the next issue, this is a very, I don't know how to describe it. This is a very like entourage thing of Cyclops is dead. Oh no, conflict. And then immediately the beginning of the next episode, actually, don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
You need to buy the next issue. So
You got it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a cliffhanger. It's just hilarious. It wasn't even 3 pages in. It's the very first line of dialogue.
Yeah.
The last line of dialogue is Cyclops is dead. The first line of dialogue is Cyclops is alive. It's fucking hilarious.
Like it would have made more sense if Storm.
Trust you,
Storm was
your
like,
lesson,
no, he's
Cyclops."
alive.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it is. It does make it funnier that it's Nightcrawler both times, Patty. For some reason, like if it was somebody else being like Nightcrawler, you're wrong. He's getting up. Like that would even make a little bit more sense. But it's just Nightcrawler both times being like, he's dead. Never mind. He's alive.
But they have to, because so in these issues, the first 3 pages of all of these issues are recapping the story to this point. So they
this
have to
one especially
basically,
is bad.
yeah, and so they have to kind of frame. Yeah, they have to like mirror and frame the end of that one to this one because it's all basically recap just in case you're a first time reader.
They also show the cables again. Like, by the way, the water's getting higher.
Yeah. Well, that was 12 issues ago when they
Just
did that.
so you know,
Yeah.
the water's getting
It comes
higher.
up in this one though. So
Yeah. But so this is issue 134. Let's do it. Too late, the heroes. Let's go.
So Jean immediately, like Wolverine barges in, and Gina, I guess, has been. Maybe it was just Cyclops being in her brain. How do they explain this? But she is immediately like,
that
good.
she says it to Wingard later on in the issue that seeing Cyclops die broke his
triggered.
alarm.
Yeah, broke. Yeah.
Like, he had thought that what that would do was like make her completely devoted to him, and instead that kind of like
it like broke it.
Realize what she was doing, and so
it shocked her back into herself.
I think that the panel you have on screen, the first page of the issue, you see it kind of in her face that she's feeling something after Cyclops almost died, but it's the rare time when Claremont doesn't like have her thinking like, what did I just see? My beloved dead, but not? What does this mean? What have I been doing?
Right.
Yeah, but to your point though, you do see her kind of look off towards that hand that Wingard has on her and this sort of doubtful, questioning look. Yeah, so
Dave, to that point, that's why I didn't pick up on that, because it wasn't explicitly said. So I wasn't looking for art cues.
There's already 6 balloons on that.
Oh my god! Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Couldn't fit another one on there.
So Wolverine barges in and she pretends to throw him off to the side, but she's also freeing Cyclops. What I think is insane is that Cyclops is like, by the way, can't open his eyes without shooting his beams, so he can't see. But he turns to his right and just shoots a beam straight through all of their manacles. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Just like that was a dangerous fucking. He's like, all right, I can't see, but pretty sure they're to my right.
No, like, he can see because
hopefully they're all bent over in a very specific way.
Joe, at this point, he's already blasted his mask off. Using peripheral vision, he can see that his friends are to his right.
Sure.
Well, and part of his mutant power is geometric awareness, so he can triangulate that.
It also says Jean is guiding him, so
Jean is.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Helping him. Yeah,
but also I
still think it's fucking insane.
It is.
He's geometrically aware.
Why doesn't she just unlock them all? Anyway, Cyclops beats the shit out of them pretty fast. I love how Shaw's like, You can't fucking hurt me. Also, he takes off his robe to get in the fight.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Well, yeah,
you gotta get shirtless to fight the.
You gotta get shirtless. No, but
Cyclops immediately just punches a hole in the ground and like he's like, "I'm not gonna hit you, dick," and he just sends it. And I was like, "That was fucking awesome." Yeah, there was some cool Cyclops bits here.
Yeah, he just optic blasts the shit out of Leland too before that, and then blasts the floor for Shaw. Like, this is a cool Cyclops moment. He really kind of comes through for his team.
Well, and going back to me saying Sebastian Shaw's on the Kinsey scale and like in love with Cyclops, it cuts to him running through the tunnels and it's a thought bubble. And he goes, Cyclops is a born leader, as good as I expected. He found one opening, one flaw in our defenses. In a matter of seconds, he had us on the ropes. I like that.
Can we touch on how Cyclops is addicted to Colossus for a second? Colossus like walks up for some fucking reason, doesn't turn metal. It picks up Pierce, and then the guy kicks him straight in the face. And Cyclops is like, "Colossus, you're luckier than you deserve. You should have anticipated that attack. Your brain, you've a brain inside that head of yours, Mister. Start using it."
Look, Cyclops learned how to lead from Charles.
Fucking amazing.
You know,
he just goes, "What the fuck were you thinking?" Honestly, in Cyclops' defense, like when Colossus walked up and picked him up, I was like, why isn't he armored up? Like my brain literally was like, what is he doing?
That's weird.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
If I was Colossus, I'd be armored up like all of the time. I don't unless it's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would. I mean, when I'm in the field, I would just be armored up. Right. There's no canonical reason that he doesn't have like a font of energy that runs out, or it's not rage based or anything. No. So there's no canonical reason why you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just the second you're out of your manacles, armor up.
But we do get a quick look at our friend Beast.
Yeah, Beast who immediately, when the X-Men are in danger, immediately abandons the Avengers.
Yeah,
like just with no regard, and he erases the tapes so they don't know why he left.
Smart.
He's like, quick, hit erase. I don't want them to know why I left.
Also, the problem too is the same memory card he erased had the Epstein footage from midnight to 12:01. So that's actually it ends up being a real problem.
For the Hellfire Club specifically,
ends up being a real problem later in time. But yeah,
Beast is like, I've only been to the Hellfire Club one time, but if I'm going again, I know I need to erase these tapes.
A quick Beast side note.
that Beast abandons the Avengers to go help the X-Men. He did it in issue 111 as well. So I don't know why they keep putting Beast on, like, you know,
Dave, this is the same organization that time and time again allows Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, to be an Avenger. So I think that answers why maybe they would let.
They're very forgiving.
Again. Yeah.
You know who's not forgiving? The president. If he calls and calls and calls, and he gets Jarvis, he gets upset about that.
A quick Beast side note: at what point in time did he become blue?
Around this time.
Was it a Claremont thing to turn him blue, or was that pre-Claremont?
It was in Amazing Adventures Volume 2, number 11 in 1972.
Okay.
Oh, shit, that's earlier than I thought.
It's not Claremont.
Okay, so pre-Claremont,
Yeah.
It was when he was away from the X-Men, though, right?
Yes, and then he joined the Avengers in Avengers 137 in April 1975, so right before Claremont started. Yeah, so he turned blue after the initial run, kind of during the dead period when X-Men was like not a big comic on the roster.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
weird.
Character's cool. Let's put him somewhere else.
Yeah,
but he's also he's a random character to pick out of the X-Men at this point and put on the Avengers. It seems kind of a strange choice.
But again, Jean was like not anything until this story, so there's that.
Yeah, and I guess Cyclops
you
can't take.
Angels,
Cyclops.
I think during the fallow period, a lot of the X-Men like guested in a bunch of like other comics because they were like, well, we like these characters, but we don't have a comic that is really doing anything with them. Like, there's a whole weird subplot where like Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants get turned into babies and are just like babysat by Moira McTaggart for a few years. And
sounds super normal. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and then they get turned back into adults during Claremont's run, and when they're just like, Magneto, what are you doing not being a baby anymore?
That's how they keep Magneto. They keep aging Magneto back down so they can still keep the World War II.
That's one of them where like when he gets turned back into an adult, he's like in his prime, even though it's still 70s. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they bother. Just do like Batman's been 35 since 1925. So I don't know why they bothered like this whole weird.
Because this is way more based in reality.
Oh yeah, this is much more realistic.
Yeah, this is way more realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I think since the movies, especially, they've made him being.
I just love that argument that Marvel is more real than DC.
Such an important part of his character that they have to try to keep it.
I know.
You're right. They do just kind of have a sliding scale where it's like, yeah, everything happened like in the immediate past. Don't worry about it. Because as we'll see later on, the president is just Jimmy Carter. So it's like,
Jimmy Carter.
Just Jimmy Carter. Yeah. So,
folksy Southern accent and all.
And Wolverine ? Kills Leland.
He says so. He says he's not dead, but he goes, "But don't worry about it."
I think later on when Shaw's talking to like Senator Kelly, he's like, "Oh, Leland's going to the hospital or whatever," but like Wolverine fell on that man with his claws out. Like,
also Leland panicked and.
Yeah, Leland made him extra
heavy. Made him extra heavy.
Yeah, also Wolverine framed it as like, oh, he's fine, but just never worry about him again. But he'll be fine, but just don't ever worry about him coming back. But he's fine.
Yeah, he's never coming back as a bad guy.
And then also Jean, the way Jean defeats Mastermind is kind of cool because she basically shows him the universe.
Yeah.
She's basically like, this,
I love that. Yeah,
this is the universe. You are a god. Here you go. And it breaks his mind, and he just turns into a comatose.
It's fantastic.
Dummy, basically. So that's kind of a cool. She just overwhelmed him with her strength.
She says, "Enjoy your trip, Jason." It's in quotation marks. How many drugs does he do?
And in a way, it really highlights just kind of, she's basically telling him, this is how stupid you were to think you could control me. Like, look at the power I have and that you could think you had any way to control this.
Yeah.
Here you go. And then he
did.
Is
overwhelmed. He did for a little while.
For a minute.
With a device from the White Queen, which makes no fucking sense.
If not for the psychic rapport.
Scott and Jean have a close bond, Al. You don't want to hear about that here.
They do.
So they do escape and they get away, and they're like, "Holy shit!" They sent Wolverine's like, "Holy shit!" They sent an army to get us, kind of thing, as they're leaving and they're flying away in their jet. And then immediately Jean's like, "Hear me, X-Men! No longer am I the woman you knew. I am fire incarnate." And she shreds
Phoenix.
the jet in half.
Yep.
And the next issue is defeated by the Dark Phoenix, issue 135.
And they are very defeated by the Dark Phoenix.
The next 3 covers of this are like just all icons back to back to back.
Oh yeah,
this is iconic.
Listeners of the podcast, if you read this trade paperback or whatever, you see you've seen these covers before.
I think early 2000s reprints of this had that as the cover, or like a redoing of that.
But they're all iconic. This one where she's crushing the X-Men, the one where Scott has her in his arms, the one where Scott and Jean are facing the moon, fighting. It's all iconic.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Very cool. There it is. Dave, for those listening, Dave is holding up this issue.
The actual issue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Phoenix destroying the X-Men.
Yeah, she wrecks them.
She beats the shit
She makes
out of them.
quick work of them. I do think it's hilarious that Colossus thinks about ripping a tree out of the ground to smash her with it, but then she turns it to gold. And then later on, Nightcrawler literally goes, "All that gold would probably solve New York's debt problem."
Yeah.
Just in the midst of all this shit, he's like, "That probably help out a lot of people. All that gold." Anyway, just moving, but I don't know.
My favorite part of this issue was Senator Kelly, I guess, is like buds with Sebastian Shaw. And he's talking to the police officer.
Rich Illuminati clubs propping up politicians. It makes complete sense.
Yeah. He's talking to the police officer and he's like, "Go get the X-Men. They went running into the forest over there." And the police officer's like, "Are you out of your mind?" He's like, "We are not qualified to deal with that kind of threat. It is literal suicide." Like, hey, you schmuck. What is this guy with a gun gonna do to the X-Men? What are you talking about?
I'm wearing a rain jacket and I have a one gun. like I'm not. Call the Avengers or the Fantastic Four or Shield. He gives them several options.
No, but it's really so. Shaw mentioned Sentinels. It's really to hint at why don't you call in Sentinels for this? Which is Dave. Have they been introduced already, or is this a foreshadowing?
No, they were in the initial runs. They've been there since the beginning.
Oh yeah, because I guess Boulevard Trask has been around. Yeah, I guess.
But even Dave mentioned earlier, what's the guy's name that brought it back around?
It was Dr. Stephen Lang, who was like...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Scott sends them into the... Scott tricks the Sentinels by sending them into the sun. I don't know, do you guys know that?
Yeah, and so that was issues 96 through 100. So that was the last time we've seen them up till now.
Okay. So the end of that is Scott sending... Or like he basically says like, well, all life comes from the sun, so you should exterminate the sun. It sounds so stupid.
Oh.
You should exterminate the sun to get rid of the mutants and all the Sentinels flying in the sun. Anyway.
But so Jean defeats the X-Men pretty easily, but does not kill them, which comes back into play a little bit later with some mind games she and Cyclops have in a little debate.
Mm-hmm.
But then after defeating them, she just flies off into space and just starts destroying shuttles and satellites and going off.
Well, and during the fight...
do like... Go ahead.
Storm says that she senses in Jean pain, great sadness, and an awful, all-consuming lust, which brings in, like, there's a few other times where it almost makes Jean's connection with power at this point almost psychosexual, where she, like, gets off on the ecstasy of having this much power, and that it's not just, again... I don't like the idea that the Phoenix Force is a separate entity, but I know that is canonically what this becomes. But to me, it's more interesting for her as a character, where this is her like completely giving into her most like base desires, and how that kind of causes her to lose her humanity.
Yeah, and I do also like it for her character because even in this, she and Cyclops have known each other since they were teenagers and been together forever. So I do like this idea that this woman maybe feels a little repressed in that sense. Of, I haven't really explored myself sexually or romantically beyond just this one guy I've known forever. And, and that bubbly, and for a mutant who has the powers of a god, bubbling out through that, this sort of repression and sexual energy.
She joins the X-Men in issue 1 and is explicitly like 18. So like she, like her entire love life has been like this flirtation with Scott and a little bit with Angel that has only now kind of developed into a full relationship with Scott. And yeah, I mean, part of this is like, a good girl going bad, in quotation marks, about wanting to kind of explore her own power outside of her relationship to the men in her life. And then she eats a star.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, she eats a star. Yeah.
I like when she flies off into space. We do get a brief, like, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He gets reading, like, I like
Silver
the little
Surfer.
tidbits. Silver Surfer was like, but he doesn't go, there's danger. He just goes, that seems like somebody I should maybe hang out with sometime. Kind of thing.
I think Silver Surfer even says that her power may rival the power cosmic, which is
pretty. Which is
substantial.
As a measurement, that's the highest kind of thing in Marvel Universe at this point in time. So,
as a preview to the discussion, we'll probably get into later. The initial idea was not for Jean to die at the end of this run, but for the Phoenix to become this sort of cosmic nemesis of the X-Men, kind of like a Galactus figure. For the rest of the Marvel U and the Fantastic Four, she would be that for the X-Men, but then we'll talk about it when we get there, but then that changed and eventually led to them deciding to have Jean die at the end of this run.
Also, real quick, after she leaves, like the X-Men, Beast comes down and in a Quinjet and like helps the X-Men out. Colossus and Wolverine are pinned under this golden tree. Beast just lifts it up.
It's
Colossus. It's Colossus.
The legs. Using the legs. He's using
but Colossus was a human, right? Because Jean turned him back into a flesh man, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's why he falls
can't
over.
lift it. Yeah, so he can't lift it.
He's still strong, though.
A human couldn't lift a golden tree.
Okay.
He'd have to be metal.
I just don't understand why he couldn't turn back.
Colossus is super strong when he doesn't have metal on his body.
Wait, what?
Isn't he?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
He's just a muscular man.
Oh, he's just
he's
huge and
very
stacked.
good shape.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not super strong.
All right, let's talk about the star eating.
Well, I just wanted to talk about this one panel at the end. I don't know. I can't show it on my iPad, but they're all in the kitchen, and Scott's in the middle at the table with his head in his hands, and Storm and Colossus are behind him. Right behind him. Yeah, just gabbing. And Storm's like, ever since we returned from New York, Scott has just sat there, not eating, not speaking. And then Colossus goes, he's taking it very hard, Aurora. If there was only some way to help. And then he can definitely hear them because Wolverine is standing further away from them, and he says,
"At the refrigerator."
I just want to call it out. I thought it was funny. They're like literally like not talking to Scott. They're acting like he's not there.
Well, also I like how
Wolverine's using his mutant hearing senses.
Well, but also Nightcrawler and Beast are in the same pose in that panel.
Yeah,
they're exactly both
crouched
hanging out.
They're hanging out. Yeah.
I mean, they're both freaks, both horrific freaks hanging out in a similar pose.
All right, Jean Dark Phoenix flies into space, opens up a wormhole.
Yeah.
So travels really far away, and then decides to eat a star, and then just happenstance happens to murder a whole planet of beings.
Yeah, billions of people.
5 billion people.
5 billion people.
Yeah, and it's described that she feels ecstasy at the moment when she eats the star.
And she has trouble dealing with that later because she has the memories of feeling ecstasy when she's doing that. That's
she craves that ultimate sensation.
The guy, the captain of this Shi'ar warship that attacks her after this is a fucking honorable piece of shit. I mean, amazing man.
Yeah, no, he's just like
holy shit
to the bit. Yeah,
he's like it's part of the empire. She just killed a whole planet. It's part of the empire. We have to attack her. We can't not attack her. Like kind of thing. Like, and they're like, she just destroyed an entire planet. Shouldn't we like run back and report? And he's like, no. Open lines of communication right now. We're going to attack her, which is obviously insane, and she kills them. But at the same time, I guess you did your job. I guess
But couldn't you also do your job by protecting the lives of your crew?
Yeah, maybe.
His point at the time was like, we need to take her out now before she gets even more powerful. She could move on to another star, get more power, kill countless others.
I do think they.
So his idea is
she
like,
just ate a star.
If I don't attempt to kill her now, she could get all more powerful.
I feel like they do mention later on. I feel like they mentioned later on that warship he's in is like the Shi'ar's like most powerful ship.
Yeah, the top of the line.
So I guess like
brand new, right at the line. On the weird side note though, which is funny that they don't show a panel of this, but on the back of the warship is a vanity license plate that says Chaz X1.
No, this is the X2. It's got to be the X2. The X1 is the Rolls Royce.
Oh, sorry.
It's got to be the X2.
My bad.
Since he and Alessandro have a relationship, this could be the Chaz X2.
It could be the Chaz X2, yeah.
All right, 136.
This is another iconic cover. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
This is,
I mean, that's
Cyclops
and of this
holding
reprint,
Jean
it
in
is
his
the
arms.
cover. Yeah.
Well, and I had initially thought that this was the cover that then, everything else afterwards is like a homage to this, but this is an homage to a Batman cover, Batman 153 from 1963 called Robin Dies at Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
There it is, yeah.
And then that gets referenced in Death of the Family or Death in the Family. Yeah, so but
Death of the Family.
Yeah. Very iconic cover on this one too.
And then also in Crisis, Supergirl.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I know the Crisis one is pretty explicit. This is.
The Crisis one is literally this.
All right,
Phoenix,
issue 136, still
all right,
40
so
cents.
we have some like Shi'ar shit, which basically just means it's just Lilandra. My bad. Lilandra. Kind of going like, Phoenix is here. We need to rally. It's everything we were worried about when she solved our problem the last time. Now she's bad. We need to take care of this.
Well, can I make a point about the Shi'ar Council? Like, the level of DEI bullshit going on here, they're all different species. Like, there's like a bug one, a worm guy, a robot.
I mean, in fairness, Al, they don't listen to the giant slug man.
Okay.
He's just there.
But I mean, we should make Shi'ar
the kind of thing where he speaks and they're like, we don't understand you. We never have. We don't know why you're at the table.
Just hit it.
And then Jimmy Carter calls Jarvis. And Jarvis is like, that's weird. Mr. Beast was supposed to be on the... Not the YouTube star, but, Mr. Beast.
Not Mr. Master Beast.
I know.
He refers to people as Master.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just like Alfred.
Like any good
Master,
butler.
like Master Dick. At any rate, the X-Men. We cut to the X-Men kind of preparing for the inevitable. Jean's going to come back at some point, or we're going to have to deal with this somehow.
Yeah, and Beast is building a doohickey to stop her.
He's building a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Also, I like how the Danger Room at this point, because we've in this podcast we talked about Astonishing X-Men, where the Danger Room is sort of a VR projection reality machine. At this point in time, the Danger Room is it's just like
it was still machines.
With
it's like, how many machines are you building?
Yeah, it's just machines that swing shit at you.
They have to build their room every time they use it.
Oh my god! Yes. Every time they train.
Yeah. What is the discretionary?
Xavier is just oh my gosh, he's just pumping so much money in. He loves it though. He's training them all the time. Yeah. He's like, I'll put all the money into this I can.
He's there as one like trainer.
All right, sell off Chaz X5. We're gonna. We need more machines for the Danger
Room. So Jean, having satiated her sexual need to eat planets and stars.
Yeah, weirdly goes right back to Earth. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, it's not weird, but it's this pendulum swing because she is satiated, right? She swings back into trying to.
I mean, her decision is to return to her civilian family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I guess if we're thinking about her as her being Phoenix, is her exploring herself like outside of the box that she feels like she's been put in. Now she's kind of regressing and going back to like the initial family unit that she defined herself by, only to find that they're all scared as fuck of her because she's a terrifying yeah, which I'm sure does not help her mental state at all.
Yeah, Papa Gray looks great, I gotta say.
He does look pretty good.
He also stands up to her like a lunatic.
Yeah,
well,
even if she just has mutant powers, what he does is insane right here.
But this is, again, going back to the psychological
let alone the
aspect,
Phoenix powers.
But going back to the psychological aspect of it, this is the first sign of mature, rebellious strength you have is against your father. The father is the forceful enforcer figure of the family. He's got the paterfamilias and all of that. And it's a very primal initial stage of maturity to just kind of bust out of that and talk back to that.
There's also like a bit of
resist
Jean wrestling with herself, like with Dark Phoenix. She literally says, "Dad, please, no," like, kind of thing. And then out loud she says, "Watch your tone with me, old man. You dance with death and worse than." But but inside her brain, she's like, "My daddy." So there's part of her in there that could be saved, I think, is kind of the point of that.
So the dad has black hair and the mom has blonde hair, and both daughters have red hair.
Yeah, not the
How does that work? How does that work?
Well, he doesn't have black hair. He has white temples and gray hair. He used to be a ginger.
Yeah.
Just seems like a weird. Okay, it just seems like a weird composition.
I mean,
actually, that is.
Her mom is strawberry blonde at best. She's not Emma Frost blonde. She's a strawberry blonde at best.
But then the X-Men arrive.
So the X-Men show up. Nightcrawler puts on the MacGuffin and straps it around her head, and it actually works. And they start to win a little bit. And Wolverine has like a bit of an opportunity to take her out, and then hesitates. And
he thinks like, I need to actually kill her because nobody else.
Well, she tells him. Yeah. Well, right.
Yeah,
and she says it too.
Yes, kill me. Like before.
The crazy part is like if the part of Jean that is Jean hadn't come out and been like, "Wolverine, do it, kill me," he probably would have.
Yeah.
But it's like that revelation of her being like, there's something in her that's still her, made him stop, kind of thing. Which is, unfortunate because this could have been the end of the comic. We were this close. Jean, you fucked it up, Jean. Anyway, she rips that shit off. I do like I do like Cyclops like holding back the entire time, and he just walks out and goes, "Stop it, Jean." And she's like, "Cyclops, I was wondering when you would turn up." But it does genuinely start to work. Like at first she has this psychotic grin / evil face on, and then the more he talks to her, the more she's like, "Oh fuck." All right, I'm listening, kind of thing. And he starts to calm her down, and then who fucks
and then
it up?
Bam! Fucking Charles just, I got her, everyone.
Good job distracting her, bud.
Yeah, just psychic blast.
Yeah,
fucking idiot.
What an asshole.
He's like, it doesn't have to. Trust me. Let me help you, Jim. And then he's like, Professor Xavier, what have you done? And he's like, while you distracted her, I was able to approach and mind blast Phoenix. Oh, sorry, it's his phonics. I had no alternative. Now stand aside at once. I do not wish you to be hurt. What? Fuck you, Xavier. God damn it, I hate Charles. It's the worst.
Well, but
the rest of this page is an asshole.
He is an asshole. However, he does end up repressing the Phoenix Force, and
he does. But right before that, he goes, "Perhaps Phoenix, but I am in part responsible for what has happened." In part, you goddamn piece of shit.
Yeah, well, and then it's described that like he kind of reestablishes the psychic circuit breakers to rein her power.
Yeah. So basically, all he does is put Band-Aids on the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part
he wins the day. Sorry.
My favorite part of this issue is that Angel pops up out of nowhere and Storm goes, "Angel, where did you come from?" And he's
like, "I guess we got here at the nick of time."
He goes, "New Mexico. The professor had me fly him here." I'm sorry, they're in New York, and he flew the professor from fucking New Mexico.
Yeah,
but I don't think he like held him.
That would have.
I think it's implied. I think it's implied that if somebody with wings says he had me fly him here, I think it's implied
that would have taken several hours. No, like
I just assumed he meant a private jet because he's so rich.
I don't know.
Can I make
it just him holding Professor X from the armpits and like flying for hours? Like, what do they talk about the entire time?
The other
I just love how he goes,
X
I get the feeling we arrived here in the proverbial nick of time. And I'm like, where were you during the fight? Professor Xavier came out. Like, you were just peeking out from behind a tree and like, all right, now it's safe. Like, now I'll come out.
The other Professor X note I want to make, and I make this every time we do an X-Men comic, and I need to do it again. I hate it when he puts on his fucking military fatigues. Like he's out there being a little soldier boy. I hate this man so much. He is a soldier
boy.
And I hate it when he plays a little soldier. He's got his little black tactical turtleneck and his olive
those are just normal
on
top,
and he's just playing soldier. I hate him so much.
I hate him so much too. I agree with you completely. I do love like so after Jean for some reason she's inexplicably naked and Cyclops starts making out with her on the lawn and then Jean's whole entire family comes out. Just goes, Cyclops, Jean, here's my robe. It's just the idea of him just being like, I know you love my daughter, totally fine. Like in this entire insanity is when
Cyclops is approaching her, he just in his mind starts reciting wedding vows. Just
yes.
And then she hears him is just like, yes, I will marry you. And
she's like, some of that sounded like a proposal, Scott. And he's like, I guess it was.
Well, actually, I know that is a little bit comical. I thought it was kind of sweet that because he kind of mentally committed to this is the woman I love and I want to marry her. And she, as a psychic, said, I feel that and agree. I thought that was kind of a sweet moment.
She was like, I heard you.
I heard it.
That's you now.
What if instead he was like, wow, after this Phoenix thing, I'm really having second thoughts about our relationship. And she's like, I heard that, Scott.
And then, for a moment, it looks like the day is saved and everything's good. And then suddenly teleportation. And
And next we get a special double issue, Phoenix Must Die, another iconic cover with Cyclops and Jean.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys knew this. This Marvel comic could be worth $2,500 to you. Details are inside.
I love that so much. I just love that artifact of like the intersection of art and commerce that like this is probably the most pivotal issue in X-Men and 15% of that cover is taken up with a dumb ad. And spoiler alert, the actual contest in the issue is like right into us telling us what kind of things you'd like to see in new Marvel comic TV cartoons. Like, we'll pick some winning entries from your postcards to send you some money. It's like the dumbest, most banal, like, focus grouping.
And what we don't know is those were the seeds of the next 10 years of Marvel X-Men comics.
Yeah.
And they didn't pay anyone shit.
Another value proposition note I want to make is this is a double issue, and as we know, every issue so far has been 40 cents, and this double issue though is 75 cents. So a 5-cent savings that they're giving you, the consumer.
Well, actually,
oh shit,
the page count on this. The original, like all the other issues, the total page count is 32 issues with 17 for comic. This one is 48 pages total, so it's really only 50% larger, but it has less ads, so it actually is 35 pages of comic. So it is a double size as far as pages of comic, but it is not a double size issue as far as the total page count.
Well, all right. But they're advertising as double-sized comic book. They're not advertising double-sized comic book.
Well, if you pick it up from your grocery store, it's twice as thick.
Yeah,
so
it's twice as many comic book pages. That's the key.
I am the Watcher.
And then the Watcher,
I am the Watcher.
The Watcher.
Man,
why was he there?
Pointless interjection.
But did you notice he's got his hand in the cloth, kind of like Oron from Final Fantasy X?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
for no reason.
Yeah, he's reverse Napoleon it for some reason. I don't know.
He is a little Napoleon man.
A little bit. He's
giant little Napoleon man.
I really don't like his inclusion here because it feels too much like everybody kind of patting themselves on the back saying this is an important issue and we need to have the one come out and say behold this important issue.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. However, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, on the quote unquote cosmic scale of what's happening in the comic, it does make sense that as a character he is paying attention to this one thing, you know. It is both those things, I guess.
Yeah.
So I do.
They fight on the blue side, the blue area of the moon, which is where he lives. I know, so it does make sense for him to be there, but it feels a little bit self-aggrandizing.
And two notes about the next 2-page splash we get for the Fate of the Phoenix title. One, so they get teleported into the middle of the Shi'ar spaceship with the Senate meeting. Mm-hmm. And so Jean is still basically naked, half covered in a robe. And B,
she's
Angel
covered.
Yeah, Angel, who's really done nothing militarily so far, also gets roped into this. And all he wanted to do was fly Professor X across the US.
Yeah, he's retired. I feel like the next panel should be Angel be like, why am I here?
So my thought about
with Candy every once in a while we go to the Hellfire Club.
My thought was that because this is a big event issue, there was a kind of idea of bringing back the original X-Men team because this was Jean's team before she retired. So we've got Beast, Cyclops, Angel, and Marvel.
Yeah, all you're missing is Iceman.
She puts on her Marvel Girl costume.
Yeah.
We're just missing Iceman, who I think at this time Iceman was like on the Defenders or some shit. So he was busy doing something else.
I mean, Beast could just walk out on the Avengers, so I don't know why Iceman couldn't leave the Defenders, but that's fine.
Yeah, why not check in with Iceman? Fuck you guys.
Right, but
the Defenders don't have a good monitoring system.
Yeah, no, they don't leave Iceman on the.
Somebody else was on monitor duty. Iceman has no idea that this is happening.
So
we do. All right. Before they fight, there's a check-in with like each individual character as they're like deciding whether or not they would fight for Jean.
Well, also they're fighting. So they're fighting because Lilandra, the Shi'ar Empress, basically takes them on trial and says that the Phoenix is dangerous. We're going to kill her. And then,
because Charles challenges them to a duel of honor.
Yeah, and Charles challenges, kind of like Game of Thrones style, like how Tyrion did it. He just challenges them to a duel.
He's like, "Yeah, before murdering Jean, you have to do this duel thing because I know about your culture." And she's like, "Good play, Charles," in her brain.
Yeah,
the whole time, Lilandra never speaks to Charles like once, but in her head the entire time she's like, "I wish I could be there for you, but I can't."
Yeah, and the threat is apparently so big that the Kree and the Skrulls are here.
Yeah.
To,
we've got the Kree master
to monitor. Yeah, to monitor it. This is when basically Nightcrawler is thinking through everything that Jean's done, and the miracle seems to be in the X-Men stock and trade. Who knows? We might pull off an upset at that. I wish I felt as confident about the reason for this duel. I once thought I would defy the devil himself for Jean. Now I'm not so sure. As a child in the circus, I knew people who had survived the Holocaust. The Nazi death camps, I still cannot forgive the butchers responsible for those atrocities. How then can I forgive Jean? I wish I knew what to do, which way to choose. Perhaps a shower will help me decide. Anyway, he's comparing Jean to Hitler and the Nazis, and rightfully so, because she killed 5 billion fucking people. Like, I mean, like, it's insane. Like, but
and this also goes back to that idea of the original plan was not for Jean to die, but one of the Marvel editors brought this up to Claremont, and the exact analogy he used is it would be like taking Hitler's army away and then sending him back home. Because he was like, you wrote Jean as destroying 5 billion people and eating a planet. Yeah. And because the original plan was basically sort of, she would get depowered from the Phoenix Force and just be returned to the X-Men. and be Jean Grey again, was the original idea. And that was when the other editor said, like, well, that's like taking the weapons from the Nazis and sending them home. You can't do that. Like, she's done something so horrible. Someone has to pay some price. And that started the whole debate of what do we do, that ended with, we're just going to make sure Jean dies.
At
the end of this.
It was Jim Shooter. It was like, this is not a sufficient resolution to what Jean did. And they had to rush and do 6 different pages for the last part of it in like 3 days, and to make the deadline for the printer.
Wolverine takes a sexy shower, and then he decides he's on Jeannie's side all the way.
Yeah, everybody gets clean though. Beast takes a bath.
Beast takes a bath, but then gets a happy ending from an alien.
No, he gets a massage.
Okay. Pretty sure he gets...
No, it's a massage. Not all massages come with happy endings.
Beast is implying otherwise. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my stars and garters.
Oh, my stars and garters.
Jean dons her Marvel Girl costume. Kind of a regression back to when she was the like more innocent, more like less genocidal version of herself, almost trying to like run away from that. And she even says like, where is it that she says that destroying the Debari star felt good, like ecstatic, and she's afraid of feeling that again, like that she doesn't want to have that again. So it's
also quick note about Beast though. I like how he's the only one concerned that like, well, he's like, we only have Lilandra's word that she destroyed a star. Like, at least he's not even saying like she's innocent. He's just saying, I need to demand a trial. Like, we can't just like sentence her to death for no fucking reason. Like, well, not for no reason, but presumably no reason. At least prove what she did was wrong and like blah blah blah. Like, and a very equitable sense of from Beast. I liked where he was coming from.
Another thing I want to so back to how comics used to be in the 80s. You know, a lot of the female stuff is super male gazy, and the way Storm is perched here on her bed, like with her ass up, is very just doesn't seem like how someone might sleep naturally.
No, like Storm is depicted as almost naked all over the beginning of
all the time.
Run. Like it's like
in fairness, Colossus is wearing whitey tighties, the panel above that, and then stands up and stretches in the middle.
You know,
he's like, middle. Wolverine's walking out of a shower completely naked, and yes, it's in shadow, but he's completely naked.
Yeah, but it's the difference of the male bodies are shown. They're not shown sexually; they're shown aspirationally. Whereas the female form is shown more enticing.
I like that Wolverine just sits down to meditate nude and just goes, I stand by Jeannie all the way.
The woman I almost killed. Yeah, the moment that last issue I almost just killed. I stand by her.
I was ready to kill her, but now I'm here to defend her. Yep.
Speaking of Colossus,
it's a bit jarring.
The Phoenix is sealed away. Yeah.
I was gonna say, the one panel I kind of thought was odd with Jean is the Shi'ar alien comes up with her Marvel Girl costume and is like, "Is this the garment you requested?" And Jean's like very like Meryl Streep from Devil Wears Prada here. She goes, "It is. It looks fine. Leave it there, please. I'll let you know if there are any problems. I'd like to be alone." Like, girl, reel it in.
What a diva.
She's on death row, Patty. Cut her a break. she's very introspective right now and doesn't need. So. She just want.
I don't know.
Is this correct? Yes, the garment's fine. Leave it there.
To Patrick's point, John Byrne draws her with kind of a mean and angry expression.
Yeah, she looks pissed.
It's a little bit of an angry expression. We haven't talked about this at all, but on the Snyder Zoo scale, I mean, Colossus looks pretty good right here.
Colossus.
There's not an ounce of fat on his body.
This is like a 7, right? This looks like a 7 on a Snyder Zoo scale.
I mean, he's so tall.
Up there, yeah. He's up there.
He's enormous.
I mean, he's a competitor for sure on the Snyderverse scale, or Snyder Zeus.
Yeah, for
Wolverine
sure.
too. Wolverine's more compact, but
well, he's got all that hair too.
He's also 5 feet tall, so I mean, like, you know.
All right, well, let's get to the fight. Come on, the fight's pretty fun. So
he's got all that hair.
So much
he does have all that hair. So they get Zoom teleported to the moon base where they have to fight and they fight the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, which is Gladiator.
It's the Legion of Superheroes. Anyway,
yeah, it's the Legion of Superheroes.
I don't have a lot to say about the fight itself.
I thought it was just the Imperial
Guard.
Like, well, Gladiator is in it.
Oh no, the entire thing is the Legion of Superheroes. But
yeah, the Imperial Guard, yeah, it's a Legion.
I like the one thing where the Skrull poses a storm and like it just shows Wolverine being cool for no reason at all, and then we move on. It's just like, you're a Skrull, and he's like, fuck you, and then that's it. Like kind of thing, and then we move on. I'm like, all right.
I liked how
but
Wolverine
basically everyone's losing essentially.
Wolverine just falls into the Watcher's
house,
and the Watcher's like, fuck, get out of here.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, get out of my house. It's like, why are your house?
Yeah, that's
why are the walls to your house intangible. Like, why was they able to fall through the wall? Talking about.
That's just how we do it. Who has time to turn a doorknob and open a door? When you're the Watcher, you just walk through shit. Colossus versus Gladiator is pretty cool. I like that moment.
Yeah, I like so back in the 90s with the cartoon, I thought Gladiator was really cool because he was basically Superman.
Because
that's Superboy, but yeah, on the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, and then the Kree and Skrull agents get distracted with each other and just kill each other.
Yeah,
which is that's on brand.
I actually loved that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, that's on brand for Kree and Skulls, definitely.
I like how after Colossus loses the fight with Goliath, Professor Xavier is like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And I'm like, "Everything, everything you've done."
I like the performative, just the performative grief. Like he even says, like, "Oh, I know I'll never forgive myself." Like it's just such bullshit. I hate Charles so much.
I felt that they had a chance. I never dreamed things would end like this.
Forgive me, my children. Yeah, I think it's because he knows Jean is psychic, so he's just bullshitting psychic thoughts.
Yeah, he's just projecting psyctic shit to Jean, so she doesn't murder him 2 minutes from now when she clearly is gonna win.
Meanwhile, he's filling out his application for his 5th vanity license plate on his new car as they're all dying.
Yeah. Just telepathically at Earth, he just has somebody at the DMV.
And now we get to the cool part, which kind of was highlighted in the cover. But Scott and Jean together, they hold hands and they just start blasting people and fighting through. And they actually do kind of. Okay,
so the fake ending / real ending is that Jean planned all of this in some way, shape, or form to drain her own ability to continue to fight so she could be defeated. I like the reverse fastball special.
Yeah.
And I like the reasoning behind it, but then I love the fact that Colossus also held back because he couldn't do it either. And I there was such a dumb, weird, I mean, I know it's silly, but like I sort of fucking loved that. Like
that part was a little silly too, because if you flash back to the very first issue of this story arc, Colossus is like in knots over the fact that he killed Proteus. And then he's literally
and then Wolverine asks him to kill somebody later, and he's like, Wolverine asked me to kill somebody. That's insane.
He literally says, like, I've never killed anyone before. I've never done this. And it's like you were just talking about it like a few days ago. You murdered somebody.
I can't, but Wolverine knows he will hold back. So I guess the play is maybe Colossus will just smash her into the ground.
I did think it was funny at the very beginning of the fight when Angel flies to like go scout with the Shi'ar. They're like, and he almost takes himself out of the fight. Because he
one loft of his wings takes him out of the safety zone.
Get out of here, Warren.
And Cyclops, just like when he reprimanded Colossus for not being in metal form earlier, he's like, Angel, use your goddamn brain.
Stupid.
We're on the fucking moon.
Yeah, well, Angel is like 9 hours ago. I was in goddamn New Mexico. I just flew all the way to New York, and now I'm here for no reason. But Jean finds the death ray machine. And
because she picked the minds of the people on the planet and knew where weapons would be. Obviously.
And through it all,
when Professor Xavier wakes everybody up to fight Jean at the end, I actually really like it. Again, it's a Storm moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Storm going like, "Fuck, okay, yeah, I'm in, I'm doing it." Like, goddamn, every time, like, if Storm's not beaten up, she's awake and just kicking ass. It's her job.
That is her job. And through it all, the Watcher was watching.
Oh. I almost skipped those pages. I was like, oh.
I did skip those.
So many words. Most of
the
last page with the Watcher is literally a computer that's recording it for him, and he's like, "You're not making any sense, Watcher. Explain it to me." And I'm like, "God damn it!"
And the Watcher basically says that like Jean Grey had like the power of a god, and that it was it would and was corrupting her and destroying her humanity, and that she chose to die as a human rather than live as a god, and that's the inherent nobility of humans.
Yeah. But he just goes, because she was human, and then the robot goes, "Insufficient answer, Watcher. Please elucidate further."
Elucidate.
And I'm like, unnecessary, Chris Claremont.
Well, he does elucidate, but I do like the end, that last kind of line of Jean Grey could have lived to become a god, but it was more important to her that she die a human.
Yeah.
And that's
issue 138.
That's the issue. 138. Let's do it. Win a Toys R Us shopping spree.
Yeah.
What?
138. Issue 138.
Shopping spree.
A minimum value of $3,000. You heard it here first. All right, issue 138 is literally just her funeral, and it's through the eyes of mourning Scott Summers, the entire history of the X-Men up until this point.
Yeah, it's just
the main takeaway. Yeah, the main takeaway is at the very end, Scott retires and Kitty Pryde joins the team, and that's kind of the whole issue. Yeah. I do want to say one thing. There's one panel where Scott's reminiscing of when they first fell in love, and he's like, "It was a beautiful evening, perfect for a lover's stroll through Central Park. We must have walked and talked for hours." And it's literally just a panel of Scott talking by himself the whole time. Like, there's he's not talking at all. It's just Scott. We talked for hours, and it's just Scott going like, "Yeah, so my folks were crazy, and I don't know where I'm from." And it's just like, and it's like, and Jean's like walking along next to him. Anyway, it's adorable.
Well, and in the original issue that took place in, that's not the conversation. They barely have a conversation at all. Like, a lot of this issue is backfilling that Jean and Scott had a more long-term, serious,
meaningful long-term relationship
than they really
that
did.
Makes sense.
It really was.
And you don't want to hear about that in the moment. You want to hear about it after she dies.
Yeah. So
Scott leaves. Kitty Pryde joins the X-Men. That's the book.
Yeah. New status quo.
Yeah. Also, is Kitty's shirt? Does that say "bitch"?
I was just about to ask that.
100%.
The jacket covers it, and all you can see is ITC.
100%. Says bitch.
So does that just say "bitch" or okay?
Bitch, babe.
Definitely says bitch, man.
Do you guys? Sorry, Dave.
But this issue 138, is 50 cents. They snuck in a price increase between the double size issue.
Ooh.
Nice. And the price increase on the filler recap episode.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We got those
Real
assholes to
classy,
pay 75 cents for a double size issue. Guess what? Next issue, 50 cents.
Yeah, but do you all hear,
They won't
Dave,
know.
you've got more professional headphones, so I don't know, but do you hear this like ringing? Like an audio issue, kind of a ringing sound, sort of a, does this pass the Bechdel test? The Bechdel test, the Bechdel test. Does this pass the Bechdel test?
The Bechdel test, the answer's probably no.
This one does not.
It does.
It does.
100%
Totally
does.
passes.
Totally passes.
Yeah.
You're wrong on so many notes.
Kitty has a conversation with Aurora in the malt shop.
The malt shop.
Oh my god, that was so long ago. I didn't even remember.
Kitty, White Queen has a very interesting conversation with Storm when she's strung up.
Yeah, and a conversation with Jean that's not related to a man. So this does actually pass. Claremont.
Oh, this does. Okay.
Characters actually has it pass.
I mean, Jean and White Queen I'm sorry, Storm and Emma just talk about like torture and what it's like to be.
Well, Emma talks about torturing Aurora, and she has the minion in the room with her. So does that count as a Bechdel test?
Does he count? Does he count?
Well, Jean and Emma have a back and forth when they're fighting. Yeah.
I feel like if the two women are fighting each other,
you're making up rules, man. You're making up rules.
You're making up rules.
Okay.
Cutting up against the limitations of the test, because again, it's the point. I think the goal is to point out how rare two women talking not about a man is, despite that being such an easy bar to clear.
Yeah. Well, I guess in that sense, yeah. I mean, talking about murdering each other is not talking about.
Just Kitty and Aurora right off the bat, first issue already solved.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe our other parts are shaky at best, but it worked.
Yeah, but that happened 3 hours ago, so I forgot. It passes.
It passes.
It passes the Bechdel test.
It happened 3 hours ago.
It did. It was literally 3 hours ago.
Literally. Oh man. All right.
Any other
recommendations?
I would just add, I know you've mentioned it a few times, that in 1984 they did a comic called Phoenix the Untold Story, where they published the original version of this with her getting depowered, and it included a very interesting, I recommend reading, roundtable transcription with like Jim Shooter, Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Terry Austin, and like the editors, kind of going into like, how did this happen? How did we get here? And I thought it was a very interesting look into like the collaborative nature of comic book writing at this time, where like Byrne always thought Phoenix was a separate force, and Claremont always thought that Phoenix was just Jean, and the two of them really butted heads about that. Like Byrne always just thought Phoenix would get sucked out of Jean and we'd be fine and go home, and Claremont was like, no, Jean has to, like, as a character study, Jean has to like reckon with what she's done. And then Jim Shooter was like, well, we probably need to kill her. And so we didn't get any of the like follow through, because Claremont was like, well, leading up to issue 150, I want to explore how Jean deals with what she has done, how she's killed so many people, and then maybe kill her in 150 as like her final like penance for that. And Shooter was like, no, there has to be a consequence and the story has to end, so we're going to end it in 137. So I definitely recommend checking that out.
Yeah. Like no, that sounds cool. I'll definitely try to do that. Should we go to recommendations or anything else to bring up generally from what we've talked about? Let's do it. I'll just start us off. I recommend it. I mean, kind of like I mentioned with overall takes, I recommend it. I think if you love X-Men, this is a seminal run that informs so much X-Men history after it. Again, it's pretty dated, and we talked about some of the problematic aspects with the time travel stuff and slavery and all that, which is really not done very tastefully. But aside from that,
it's also brief, though. I mean,
yeah, but it's still, it might really offend a reader. I don't know.
100%.
It might really offend someone. But I mean, other than that, and it being a little bit dated and text heavy, it still reads pretty well. It hits really good character beats for the whole cast. I recommend it. I think it's a great classic X-Men run.
I mean, I pretty much same opinion. I recommend it. It's wordy, but I mean, nowadays with like the Marvel Unlimited app and stuff, it's pretty easy to access all these older storylines. So if you're into the X-Men, this is pretty much, I would say, the most famous storyline of these characters, and really shaped the future of the team going forward. So it's a lot of words, though, a lot of words, but I would recommend it. Yeah.
I mean, being not of this time period, because 79, 80, not around, or I was barely not reading comics, but like this is kind of the comics I grew up with. So I can kind of look past all of that heavy wording stuff sometimes. I can just be like, oh, this is how comics used to be, kind of thing. So it's a little easier for me, but at the same time, I was texting you guys throughout this reading and just going like, holy shit. I am trudging through this. But again, it like aside from all of that, it is essential X-Men reading. Like I gotta begrudgingly recommend this, even in the nicest way, begrudgingly. But like just in the sense of like it's very dated in terms of how it's written. Story-wise, it's amazing. Character development's amazing. Definitely passes the Bechdel test. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but yeah, love the characters. And to Dave's point, I liked seeing Scott and Jean's relationship really like flourish, even though they kind of retconned a little bit of it in there, but I liked it. It was awesome. Recommend.
Yeah, and I recommend it too. I mean, I really like it. I kind of have the same issues that the rest of you do. That, you know, some of Claremont's dialogue and captions are overwritten for sure. But yeah, the character work is really strong. The overall plotting is really strong. And you know, it's just, even though this is 40 years old, like all of X-Men going forward turns around this story. Like this story is kind of the seed for everything that X-Men becomes after this. You know, either responding against it or for it, one way or another. You have to have this story as your foundation. So I definitely recommend checking it out, just to kind of see the bedrock that all X-Men is drawing from after this.
Well said.
All right.
I think we
won comic. I think we won comics for the week, boys.
One comics.
Yeah.
Good journey.
That's been Dark Phoenix Saga.
Dark Phoenix. Good journey, Couchers.